Speaking of crypto, Nate, similar to the push to market we're seeing in IPOs, you're seeing a lot of what you call a boatload of crypto ETF filings.
To launch a Ripple dollar stablecoin, we saw two things. One key thing is, I think, liquidity. So you think about FX markets in 2024,
Whereas Circle pays for play. Because Circle is owned by Coinbase.
I'm also committed to signing landmark crypto market structure legislation this year.
They try to shake me out, but I was born ready. Dropping down the price, then I be getting plenty. They want all your bags and they want all of them empty.
What's up, good glitches? Welcome back to some more Moon O'Clock News. Buckle up and let's go full speed. Full throttle. We got XRP dipped to around $3.10, currently creeping back up to around $3.23. We got Cointelegraph, the pop-off update. The SEC issued a litigation release announcing the resolution of its case against Ripple. Brad Garland House, Chris Larson. SEC announces a joint stipulation to dismiss appeals resolving civil enforcement action against Ripple and two of its executives. Simon says the industry owes Ripple a debt of gratitude for standing up to the SEC. The case has shaped the future of crypto more than any other. Judge Torres ruling that XRP isn't inherently a security was a turning point for the industry. Its renewed faith in the U.S. rule of law after a period of capricious persecution made planning impossible for digital asset companies. Uphold stood by the XRP community through this turbulent period, and the love we got back has been unparalleled. Now all the appeals have been withdrawn and the dust has settled. Let's get back to building the future of finance. Subject views: Ripple's laser focus on building liquidity across key currency pairs, primarily through its cross-border payment solution and the use of XRP as a bridge currency. They are reducing the friction in cross-border payments, which supports the company's mission to improve global financial interoperability, putting a dent in the universe.
To launch a Ripple dollar stablecoin, we saw two things. one, which is the reality that the stablecoin market is big and it's getting bigger and bigger. So from a few $100 billion today to growing to, 3 to 4 or 5 trillion, depending on what forecast you look at, dollars in market cap over the next few years. And that's because I think the world is really embracing and realizing the use cases for stablecoins beyond just speculative crypto asset trading. The second reality is that stablecoins have been central to our payments business. So, to use blockchain to make cross-border payments a lot faster and lower cost, we've been using stablecoins for a while now. And so, the more ownership we can take of our product suite, the better. I think there's two kind of long poles to making stablecoin payments the norm, or to make them really explode in growth globally. One is connecting blockchains to domestic systems. And that's really, that's been the hard work of Ripple over the past, several years, is building the network itself. And you know how it is in payments. There can be many different ways to achieve that through different strategies. But the second key thing is, I think, liquidity. So you think about FX markets in 2024, there was upwards of $200 trillion in FX volumes, but in stablecoin volumes, it was like $25 trillion, mostly through speculative trading. So the next challenge that we have as an industry is to now create the breadth and depth of liquidity for stablecoins across key currency pairs like AED and others. Ripple owns many XRP tokens. We also staff a team of core ledger developers who are always, continuously working on and innovating with the ledger. So I think, one, we have always been working in service to build use cases that make use of the attributes of the XRP ledger. So that's why we've been focused on payments from the beginning, because it was always kind of built for payments. And yeah, I think that having the competencies in-house between, blockchain development as well as the commercial teams building the solutions on top of it has been beneficial.
Welcome to the internet of value. Will XRP take the lead? XRP Ledger just ranked number 2 in world asset total value lock growth over the last 30 days, right behind Binance Smart Chain. Tokenization momentum is building. Is XRP about to take the number 1 spot? Smoke Dog CNBC expect a boatload of crypto ETFs to come to the market within the next 2 months, including XRP and HBAR ETFs. Listen closely, glitches.
Speaking of crypto, Nate, similar to the push to market we're seeing in IPOs, you're seeing a lot of what you call a boatload of crypto ETF filings. What does that mean, and how does that differ from what we've seen in the past?
Well, it's interesting because the three major stock exchanges, so NYSE, NASDAQ, and CBOE, they have all filed with the SEC for generic listing standards for crypto ETFs, which basically means that the exchanges wouldn't need to seek specific approval for each spot crypto ETF as long as it meets certain criteria. So this would streamline the approval process. And that's important because right now there are filings out there from multiple issuers for XRP ETFs, Solana ETFs, Cardano, HBAR. We could go on down the list, but there are a boatload of filings out there. And the expectation is that this standardized crypto framework will be implemented, say, in the next 2 months or so. And so if and when that happens, I think you're going to see the floodgates open. We're going to see a wave of approvals, and you're going to see, again, a boatload of new crypto ETFs coming to market.
XAIF crypto breaking. The Central Bank of Malaysia just named XRP alongside Bitcoin as a potential replacement for cash and bank deposits from CBDCs to global payments. XRP's future is looking unstoppable. Digital asset investors, stablecoin wars, shots fired. Meanwhile, RLUSD is slowly gaining market share. We know where this is going.
Unlike our competitor, we have no long-term rev share deal with any of our distribution partner. So while we're only 1/30th the market cap of Circle, we are already far more profitable than they are. Now, that's because Circle and Coinbase made a deal a long time ago that Coinbase gets 60% of the revenue that comes from Circle, regardless of what happens in perpetuity. USD1 is completely chain and distribution partner agnostic. So all of the listings, all of the Binance listings and all the other exchange listings that we have was earned business, whereas Circle pays for play. Because Circle is owned by Coinbase, other exchanges don't want to work with them. They're being paid to work with them. But they view working with Circle as doing a deal with the devil because they're directly supporting their competitor.
What do you really think?
I mean, I'm just telling you the truth. It's a USD1 future.
It's about to get real. RL, USD, Riz XRP, stablecoins are the base layer of digital cash. Ripple, ready?
Base layer of digital cash on the internet needs to be as safe as possible. And I believe that, the bipartisan policymaking, I think leadership from the administration has set in federal law that stablecoin money is going to be this very safe, fully reserved form of money. When you have money moving at the speed of the internet everywhere in the world, you need it to be as safe as possible. And short duration treasuries, there are multiple eligible forms of collateral for these, but it is at that short end, right? And cash as a kind of cash-like instrument. Now, I think the view that this crowds out the ability for lending to happen, I actually think is a mistaken view. I think that when you have super high velocity, very high utility money, people are going to want to borrow that. And I think we're going to see very robust credit markets develop that are operated on blockchain networks. And we'll see actually more efficient credit delivery with more transparency, more supervisability. We actually think we can get to a safer financial system with more effective credit delivery built on this new kind of stablecoin.
That almost puts something like Bitcoin in the permanent class of just a store of value. Because I could argue that you call it safe. Yeah, safe, except for the devaluation, continual devaluation of the dollar as time goes by. You're talking about safe for near-term transactions and absolutely safe. It stays at $1. But the dollar itself in 10 years is worth 70 cents.
Well, I think there's sort of there's the
two things you're worried about.
The macro view over the kind of fiscal.
But you could never do a stablecoin based on Bitcoin.
That's correct. I mean, essentially, what we see, in fact, as a major growth driver in our business is the internationalization of these digital dollars. And you even hear that from President Trump, Secretary of Treasury. We want to export these digital dollars. We want to put them in the hands of people who want to hold them and transact with them.
Right.
So that global demand is very real. And I think this is a kind of currency competition on the internet versus China versus other markets. And this is a technological weapon to compete. And it turns out also that people don't want to hold a volatile crypto asset in many places. They want to hold $1.
Right.
Because it actually is significantly
next
more
week
stable.
It's still worth $1.
We're shifting from speculation to full-blown utility. Meanwhile, we got Grape, the real Grape drop. XRP forensic price manipulation in plain sight. If anyone has been following me, you probably know I started running an XRP validator since July 12, 2025. And what I'm seeing is shocking. This isn't conspiracy talk. I have live transaction data that might prove how XRP price is being manipulated. Interested? Let me show you. Only 1,000 XRPL nodes running in the world, but only 150 to 170 active validators on the mainnet. Mine is one of the validators. You can see my validator here. I built a Python tool to flag 10K XRP payments. Some examples from my logs: 49,900 XRP, 67,000, 146,000. Thousands of these volumes a day, many traced to exchange addresses like BitGet via counselxrpscan.com as an example, but not limited. Screenshot. There's a lot of high value movement, far more typical than retail actively, in my opinion. Why this matters: price is set by trades, but reported market data often uses volume weighted pricing. And the same parties move large volume between exchanges. Wash trading, it can inflate volume metrics, nudge price indexes, distort market cap, price, supply. While trading ripple effect creates an illusion of demand, this can trigger algorithmic bots, influence sentiment, and even move price slightly and lower liquidity books. It's banned in regulated markets, but crypto still has gaps in enforcement. Wrapping up, I'll keep logging these transactions and sharing the patterns. Attach 90s capture of the live ledger payments plus a sample trace to yet another exchange. See the screenshot of an address receiving large transactions on Binance. Data doesn't lie. The patterns are worth watching. Follow for more XRP forensics updates. Momentum is building. Why the price manipulation is something big on the horizon. CoinsKid says, I'm expecting a pullback in September because a key indicator I made for you and not seasonality. Admittedly, there's a lot of going on this chart, but if you look carefully at it, you'll see that Bitcoin prints the same pattern each post having year. Gert Van Lagen. XRP 2-week ripple is ready to rip. The 7-year double bottom has broken out at the X. The neckline was successfully retested at right here. All-time high cleared. First target near $34 at the 2.0 fib extension of the double bottom compared with 2014 to 2017 setup. We're just getting started. Glitches, potentially 2 big moves ahead. Crypto Insight UK, some follow through price action and volume for XRP here, and we're looking very nice. At Grad Crypto XRP tight range analysis, we're currently in a tight range, and here's what to watch for. Close above 330. This is a bullish and signal strong upwards momentum. Close below 313 and is bearish and indicates a potential downside pressure. My take, I believe XRP will oscillate between 330 and 313 with no clear direction until we see how BTC moves. Current BTC status today, Bitcoin is back to 120K. Let's keep our fingers crossed for new all-time highs. Probability breakdown ranging 60%, 330, 313, close above 330, 20%, close below 313. 20%. And take a look at XRP here in the previous 2017-2018 cycle where XRP nearly did 70,000% gains, and as you see, it left the previous all-time high in the dust. And currently XRP looking good above $3, but compared to this cycle, XRP has plenty of room to go. If you keep in mind this long consolidation base, bigger the base, higher in space. Also another thing to note, when the SEC came in and shut down this cycle, XRP topped off in April while the rest of the markets topped off in November. And if we continue to follow this speculative cycle, we could have a potential cycle top coming in the fall of 2025, October, November. And in this 2016 BTC halving cycle, the bull cycle lasted around 553 days. In the 2020 cycle, the rest of the markets topped in April, which was put us around 546 days. If we take that same amount of time, then we got around 77 days left in this current cycle. Once again, XRP is only hovering around the previous all-time highs with nearly 6+ years of sideways consolidation. Get ready for XRP to rip. Also, another thing to know, XRP versus BTC. Will the flippening happen once again for XRP in the previous 2017 cycle? You see how high XRP went versus BTC. If we were to get back to these previous levels, we would see around a 739% gain for XRP. A 739% gain will put XRP at around the $27, $28 level. What's interesting about that level is a lot of chart analysts have that as the 1.618 Fibonacci retracement level for XRP, the golden ratio, which lines up right here with XRP. Also taking a look at the total cryptocurrency market cap, as you see in this 2020 cycle, the rest of the markets topped off in November of 2021, while XRP finished in April of 2021, basically completing only half of the cycle for XRP through manipulation. With that being said, Batman Bag Ladies Committee expected draft early September 2025. The Senate deadline for the SEC portion, September 30th, 2025. Senate Banking Committee Chairman Tim Scott aims to have the SEC portion of the legislation voted out of the committee by September 30th. On May 29th, the Clarity Act was introduced into the House, and on July 17th, the House passed the Clarity Act by vote. The Senate Agriculture Committee, which has jurisdiction over the CFTC, is expected to release their draft of the bill in early September. Senate Banking Committee Chairman Tim Scott said his goal is to get the SEC portion of the legislation voted out of the committee by September 30th. Could we possibly see a crypto market structure bill pass going into October, November? And would this signal a cycle top as it aligns with the speculative halving cycle, or will this extend this cycle into a full-blown utility cycle? Let me know your thoughts down below. The House generally has been more crypto-friendly and moved faster on digital asset legislation than the Senate, so if there's momentum from the Senate committee actions in September, we could realistically see a House passage by Q1 2026, though late 2025 remains possible if everything aligns favorably. With that being said, President Trump says he'll sign the crypto market structure bill. It's coming.
I'm also committed to signing landmark crypto market structure legislation this year to grow the industry. We're going to be growing it even more than people ever thought. It's a really hot industry. And
let me know your thoughts down below. Will this signal the cycle top aligning with the BTC speculative halving cycle, or will this extend our cycle into a full-blown utility cycle? With that being said, we still got quite a ways to go for cryptocurrencies. We're going much higher, and the longer they take, the higher we keep climbing on that XRP. Rich list, top 10% holder, 2,423 XRP, top 1% holder, 50,000 XRP, the top 0.1% holders, 353,000 XRP. What will those bags be when that regulation jar of molasses finally breaks open and XRP's true price is finally revealed? So catch you up here on the mothership. I am the XRP Bagman, the Moon Commander. BYOB, bring your own bags, be your own bank, be your own boss. And don't forget to drop an elbow from the top ropes on the likey button. Shout out to the latest sub. See you at the tippy top. Later, glitches.
Eating all these bags like a black hole, rounding up some more like a lasso. We was getting turned extra bullish at the last show. Spaceship getting heavy with the last load, knowing that the pump coming soon in this blast mode. RIP, peace to the chateaus. Fuzzers they was hitting cause of Clayton they was knocking, trying to get inside of the castle. Rockets loading up, about to blast off the gravel. Told you get your ticket but you missed out on the raffle. SEC a bunch of lies, what a bunch of assholes. But that rocket reignited like a gas stove, ready to flip the switch, then we blast more in another orbit like an astro. All them times it was talking ish turned to a fiasco. Fortune to the beast, feel like Mozart playing the piano. Rob Nichols and Batman on the track, bringing mad souls. See you in the Astros. Yo, I'm a cryptoholic. All these puppets lawless. When we beat the case fatality, it was flawless. If them